Hey, Rodney, are you awake right now? I wanted to let you know that Jake and I are planning to get married.
Oh, you're finally going to get married, huh? Being married is great. No matter how difficult life can be, you'll have your partner right there with you to help after you get married.
I think I want to have the same amazing relationship with him that you have with your wife. And also, I want him to meet you guys before the wedding. Do you think you'll have time to see him on your next day off?
Well, I should be able to make some time to see him on my next day off. But before I meet him, I want to ask how old he is. Also, what is his occupation at the moment?
What? Why?
You already know that this year I am transferring to a very high-end company, right? So I'm just curious if he is a man of success like I am.
I've heard from Mom about how you will be transferring to some fancy company. It's a pretty famous brokerage firm, right? I've heard from Mom about how fancy the company is.
That's right. And once I start working there, I'll get a yearly salary of 150,000. That's around $75 an hour there. So, back to Jake. As long as he is as successful as I am, I'd be willing to meet with him.
Saying something like that to him would be pretty rude, don't you think? It's normal for an older brother to meet the future husband of his younger sister, no matter what his job is. Please stop talking like an idiot and make some time to meet with him.
Come on. Think about what I'm saying. There's no point in me meeting with some worthless man. Even if he's planning to marry my younger sister, my time is valuable. I have bigger things to look forward to now that I'm working for a top-ranking company.
What the hell?
Don't you get it? When you are working with elite people in a very well-established company, there is no need to be meeting with those of... And so, if he isn't on the same level as me, I don't think I can spare the time to see him.
I get it. But you're already at the top now, so you shouldn't be worried about your image like that. But you don't need to worry. My fiancé is doing great for himself. He inherited his family's farmhouse and all of their land with it.
You're joking, right?
But there's really no need to worry about him being successful, as the vegetables that he grows on their farmland are insanely delicious and healthy. He has tons of people wanting to buy his vegetables, making him one of the top-ranking farmers within the agricultural community.
Hey, you've got to be kidding me. What does it mean to be a top-ranking farmer? Really, though, did you not just hear me say that I only want to meet with someone on the same level as me?
Now what do you mean?
Farming is one of the least valued jobs around. There is no way someone working as a farmer could be labeled as doing great, even if his produce is delicious and popular. Honestly, growing things as simple as vegetables is nothing to be proud of.
Why are you saying this?
I just can't believe you'd stoop so low as to marry someone who works on a farm. Personally, I think that someone with your looks can do a lot better than a poor farmer. What a waste. I guess you should start getting used to living life covered in mud and poop.
Mary, I just heard from Rodney about what's going on. It looks like you are going to marry a farmer boy.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like Rodney wants to meet with him, since he isn't on his level. I'm sorry to have to ask this of you, but would you be willing to talk some sense into him for me?
Why me?
He is being really thick-headed about all of this. But things will only get worse if he doesn't decide to meet with my fiancé for at least one time before we get married. He said to me that there's no way he'll meet with some poor lousy farmer. But he can't be going around saying things like that. So I'd really appreciate if you could stand as a mediator between us. We can meet around drinks or a quick dinner to help lighten the atmosphere for Rodney and Jake.
I'm sorry, but you're asking me to do something that I really can't do.
What? Why not? Of course, we'll be paying for your food and drinks as a thank you.
That's not the problem. It's that I am also not really looking forward to meeting some dirty farmer boy. This sounds bad, but could you please stop asking us to meet with him already?
What? It's not just my brother then, but you also don't want to see my fiancé before the wedding.
I'm not against you guys getting married or anything. It's only that your fiancé and our lifestyles and salary are far too different. We also really don't want to be seen breathing the same air as someone of his class.
You can't be serious.
Rodney has just transferred into a very famous brokerage company where he earns 150,000 a year. And as for me, I have been given the chance to become a major leader for the company I've been working in for some time now. In other words, Rodney and I are both working high-level jobs, making us an extremely powerful and wealthy couple. It is unthinkable for people in our position to meet with someone who works in the countryside as a farmer. And even if it's our duty as a family to meet and talk with one another, I can't see us becoming anywhere close to that with him.
Could you stop for just a sec? Are you honestly saying that he is a low-class man?
Well, who else would be talking about right now?
You'd better take back what you said immediately, calling him a poor and dirty farmer boy, and above that saying he's working a low-class job. Why have you all of a sudden started saying such harsh things about him? It's not only extremely rude to him, but to me as well.
Is it rude to tell the truth, though? No, this is just a question. But how much does a farmer like him actually make each year? Is he really bringing in enough money selling lettuce or whatever to even be in a position to get married? He's barely contributing to society.
What?
Rodney and I both work for international companies, so we are contributing to society at the highest level. And we both put in around 10,000 towards the economy every year through buying shares in other companies.
So you guys think you are so great and above Jake because you are buying stocks? Don't you realize that growing food for people to consume helps the world tremendously more?
Don't even try to compare his one vegetables to our 10,000 worth of shares. Okay? We are putting immeasurable amounts of money into the economy compared to him.
So no matter what I try to say to help you understand his importance, you'll just keep trying to talk down about him? I honestly can't believe that you are acting the same way as Rodney right now. I'm done here. I've heard enough. If you both are going to continue acting like children, then there is no need for you to meet him. I'm not going to bother asking anymore.
That is perfectly fine with me.
However, even if you don't want to meet him, please come to our wedding at the very least. I know you guys are going to evade meeting him, but you can try and sneak away from our wedding as well. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing for me, and I want to see you both there.
Yeah. It's going to be a pain in the butt for us, but we will still show up to your wedding. Even if it is the worst family event we will have gone to thus far.
Thelma, where are you guys at right now? The wedding will start soon, but I can find you. Guys, anywhere, and Rodney won't answer his phone either. Did you guys run into a problem or something getting here?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. We didn't have any problems. We actually are at the front of the wedding hall right now.
If that's the case, then you guys had better come inside soon. If you go up to the front desk, they will show you to your seats before we start. And Jake is waiting to introduce himself to you both.
Well, can you tell him something for us? We won't be attending your wedding. I know this is pretty disrespectful of us, but we just decided that we do want to come in after all. We are going to head straight back home now.
Coming all the way to wedding just to turn around and say that you're gonna go straight home is crazy? Do you guys still think it isn't worth it to see me get married to a farmer?
Now you're catching on. That's exactly what I'm wanting to say.
You're both arrogant jerks.
We made a spot in our schedule to come and see the wedding, but having your celebration in the countryside at an old, dirty reception hall is not something that us high-class city folk want to see. We'd start feeling sick if we had to sit there for a few hours.
That's the reason you guys won't join us? Join us? That is a super embarrassing reason to not come in, though.
You guys should be embarrassed to be having a wedding in this wretched place. There is no way in hell that your brother and I would set foot in there. My shoes deserve better. And now, thanks to all of this, I have lost the desire to give you guys your wedding gift.
What?
We went out of our way to bring you both a gift. We were planning to give you guys some of our hard-earned money as a gift, but now that I think of it, there is no point in giving any such gifts to a dirty farmer boy and his annoying wife.
You shouldn't have to force yourselves to give us any gifts for the wedding. And isn't it odd how a couple who both work such well-paying jobs have to complain about giving some of their money away as a wedding gift?
We aren't trying to be stingy with our money, though. I wish you could understand that. It's only that we worked really hard for this money, so we do have the desire to give some of this money away to those who have no value.
So, in other words, Jake and I aren't worthy of receiving any gifts from you two because we are worthless?
Yup, but that only pertains to mud-covered farmers like you guys. I'd hope you guys would use the money to buy some nice wine or something nice like that at the very least. But I suppose you'd go out and buy some mud-covered tractor instead. Of course, just the thought of that alone made me take back the thoughts of giving you guys any money as a gift.
All right, I see what you're saying.
So with that, I'm going to have to say I'm sorry. There just isn't going to be a day in my life when I'd give a gift to some loser farmers. But don't feel like you guys are the only ones. Rodney and I have come to the conclusion that we would never end up going to anyone who isn't as successful as us's wedding.
Well, then it's a good thing we can have this wedding without you both, then.
Absolutely. We were starting to think that before we head home, we'd at least go check out some tourist spots around here. But what am I saying? There isn't a single place we want to check out in the countryside. It's unfortunate that some people choose to waste the rest of their lives out in the middle of nowhere like this, playing in the muddy farm fields. I bet you're really going to regret taking on the life as some farmer boy's wife.
Well, I'm sure you will bite your tongue pretty soon.
Huh?
I get to live with the person I love, and I'm able to take care of him by making delicious meals and keeping the house clean while he is out working. But in terms of your everyday life, you lack the type of sensibility I have. Leaving you feeling disgusted by the idea of living a simple life like I will be. It's probably too late for you to do anything about what will come next, but hopefully you can try and stick with it as long as possible.
You need to slow down. What do you mean by bite my tongue?
You'll be able to understand that in no time. Anyways, the wedding is about to start, so I'll see you around. You and Rodney have a safe trip home. Okay.
Hey, Mary. What the hell is all of this about? I just received a message from my company saying that my boss wants to meet me in person to inform me that I need to transfer to another location for work. And worse than that, he wants me to go work by myself in a location out in the deep countryside.
Congrats on that. You'll probably have to end up staying out in the middle of nowhere for the rest of your career if you don't get the chance to go back to the main office.
Stop joking around and explain what the hell is going on. Is this what you meant by what you said earlier to me? You must have said something to my boss, huh? What the hell did you tell him? For my boss to all of a sudden ask me to transfer out to a different office is beyond strange.
All I did was talk to your boss a little at my wedding. I said to him that one of his department leads didn't seem to quite understand the importance of agriculture, and then I told him that it would be best to send her to a location where she could better grasp the idea, like to a farm. I asked if he could please do this one thing for me as a wedding gift from him.
What? My boss came to your wedding? And you spoke with him about me?
Of course.
The company I work for is super high class, though. How could my boss be willing to go to some wedding far out in the countryside for some dung-covered farmer?
It's pretty surprising, right? I didn't even invite him, though. But he rushed over to our wedding anyways. He said he wouldn't miss it.
Really?
Actually, he used to buy vegetables from my husband quite a lot and was asking today if he could start doing business with him on a company-based level. So it seems like your boss and Jake will start to do business together. And also, your boss hadn't spoken with Jake for a bit, so he decided to take a day off his busy work schedule today to bring us a wedding gift and congratulate us in person. He basically stepped away from his work at your very highly praised company to come celebrate with us.
I can't believe this.
My husband was, of course, greatly touched by this, so he asked the staff if there was anything they could do to get your boss a place to sit during the wedding, since he wasn't originally invited. I'm still shocked, though, by the fact that a man as kind as him would have someone working for him that thinks the exact opposite about farmers, and would end up not showing to a wedding because it was in the countryside. My husband is rather disappointed by what you guys did, so just be warned.
Wait. Well, you haven't told my boss exactly who I am yet, right?
I have. Why wouldn't I tell him the name of his unprofessional employee? And by the way, he has already gone home now, so I can't take anything back.
Why would you do this, though?
Well, I need to start heading home myself before the traffic gets bad. Have a great day.
What the heck have you and your husband done, Mary? Your husband has control of a large portion of my company's shares. Why didn't you let me know he had so much power?
What? I don't know what you're going on about.
My company told me this morning. They said your husband put a lot of my company's properties into another brokerage firm because he didn't want to see a large amount of money being given to a company with rude employees like me. You thoughtlessly went out of your way telling him who I worked for. I can't even begin to comprehend what your husband has done. What the hell is going to happen to me now?
Give me a sec. Saying all this stuff out of nowhere is going to make my head hurt. I'm not even him. So how am I supposed to know what he is doing with your company and how much money he is taking away?
That's why you need to go and ask him right now. On top of that, you need to explain to me how he was able to afford some of my company shares while only being a measly farmer. Doesn't it strike you as odd that a farmer like him has this kind of money and this education in economics?
It's not that odd. Just because he is a farmer, that doesn't mean he can't hold assets in different companies and understand how companies function. And when was it decided that he was working as a dirt poor farmer? He is a farmer with a yearly turnover of nearly 75 million.
75 million? He is making that much every year. There isn't a single reason a farmer should be bringing in that kind of money. You have to be messing with me.
I think it was your prejudice that led to this misunderstanding. My husband was able to hire lots of employees to help work on his farm, making it easier for him to run such a larger operation. He is also able to support everything on his farm using his own resources and has worked to establish his own brand for selling his produce. Someone at his level of business would naturally be able to make a turnover of 75 million a year.
These have to be a bunch of lies. Him making that much money. I just can't believe it.
Well, you should start trying, because that's the whole reason why he can afford all of these shares. He is always thinking of which major companies he wants to put his money into. But when he heard all the crap you said about him and that you were working for a company that he had bought shares in, he decided to move those shares out of frustration. By the way, from here on out, would you be kind enough to stop trying to contact us about your workplace issues? My husband doesn't like to be involved with those who show zero respect towards those with a different lifestyle than theirs, and don't bother coming to any of our family events ever again.
I'm really, really sorry for everything that has happened. I did never realize that your husband was working on a new contract with my boss. I messed up by acting all rude towards you guys since you did, and decided to tell me that Jake was doing business with my boss. I'm seriously sorry.
I don't need to hear your apology. And Jake and I decided to opt out of signing the contract with your company. Just before we were going to sign the contract, we decided we wanted to start from a clean slate.
Could you please reconsider signing? Please. My boss wants to start a new department in our company using your vegetables. But if you guys don't sign the contract, I will be let go for causing this to happen.
That's unfortunate. But what does that have to do with us?
But
You getting fired doesn't mean anything to us.
please stop giving me the cold shoulder and start trying to reconsider all of this. I'm your brother's wife after all. You'll end up regretting this if you become the cause of your sister-in-law's unemployment and bad reputation.
No, I don't think I will regret it one bit. But suppose we do rethink signing the contract, I still feel you would end up being fired. My husband said he would only renew the contract so long as you were let go.
What the hell?
You only have yourself to blame for making him this upset with you. He didn't want to say no to the contract, but he worked too hard, building up his farm, to have it be in the hands of someone like you. He had to start from the bottom to get his farm to where it is. Now, with all of the employees, he is running it with him now. And during that journey, I have been standing next to him, supporting and listening to all of his struggles. So I do not blame him for his choices. But because you wanted to make fun of all his hard work and then go ahead and get upset when he didn't sign the contract, I feel no sense of remorse for you.
That's why I want to apologize for everything I said before. I'm so sorry that I'd be willing to get down on my knees in front of you guys to apologize.
The way you said that looks to me like you still look down on the both of us, though. You probably didn't even know the reason why you need to not only apologize to us, but the whole farming community in general.
I do know why.
To you, being a farmer is simply just picking vegetables, and it is merely just a low-level industry with very little income. But if work like this never existed, your job and all of the other high-level jobs would not be able to exist either. Farmed produce is a huge part of cooking and making meals. They are the base to keeping us alive. It's because of all the hard work that farmers do that the vegetables and fruits stay delicious and affordable. But people like you, having never understood anything about farming or even accepted that farming is an important part of our society in the first place, are people that we don't want any relations with.
It's not like that, though. I never talked bad about farmers and the agricultural industry like you say.
Keep trying to make up as many useless excuses as you'd like, but no matter how many you have, we already know that you and Rodney will never understand our position, so we definitely aren't ever going to forgive you two. Now please, just leave us alone. Right after everything that happened, it seems Thelma was coerced by her boss into an internship training program at a farm deep in the countryside for about a month. However, after about a week at the farm, she couldn't handle it anymore and returned to the main office to submit her resignation papers. According to the farm where she trained, she would freak out at the slightest amount of mud on her, rendering her useless to the farmers there. In addition, my older brother was tasked by his boss to make up for all the damage he caused the company through his comments to one of the shareholders. I've heard that he's now assigned 10 times the usual workload just to try to help the business recover. It seems he has had to stay overnight at work on many occasions just to meet the deadlines and avoid termination. However, due to the stress of not meeting some quotas, he has lost over 20 pounds so far. Any work that ended up not being completed on time was shifted onto his coworkers to assist in finishing it. Because of all the trouble he has caused for his coworkers within the company, he receives cold gazes from anyone he encounters, whether at work or elsewhere.